Hello and welcome to another episode of the Leverage Podcast. I am your host, John Davidson, and I have a great guest today. We're going to talk about discipline. We're going to talk about intentionality, and we're going to talk about how to live a successful life with work-life balance. That doesn't make sense to a lot of you watching and listening, but my guest has figured it out. My guest today is Andy Allen, who works in what I understand is the greatest industry in the world. Andy, which industry is that?
That would be real estate.
Tell me
36
about it.
years in real estate. So here's why I say it's the greatest industry in the world. Most people who are watching this would say, man, I'd like to make more money, or I'd like to get a promotion and have a better position. And in your world, in order for that to happen, you have to go to someone above you and you have to tell them why you should make more money or get a promotion. In my world, I look in the mirror, and if I want to make more money, if I want to double my income next year, this is the truth. I can double my income next year because I'm in real estate. There is no ceiling, and there's no one who can tell me I can't. There is no one who can tell me, oh, Andy, because of your past, you don't have these designations. You haven't passed this. You haven't done that. You don't have this experience. No one can tell me that because I am the boss. And if it's important to me to be successful, I can be as successful as I like. And so for me, I was a bodybuilder when I was young, competitive bodybuilder, got out of school. My folks hated the idea that I, was teaching defensive driving 4 hours a night. This is back like in 1990. And I was making $25 an hour, which back then, that was pretty good money,
Yeah.
So I was thrilled. I could pay my bills. I could train for 2 hours a day. I could eat 6 meals a day. I could lay in the sun for an hour. I was living my best life. And so, and I'll tell you about the business successes and the money, but I've never been motivated by money. I am unbelievably competitive. So if I'm going to do something and I see someone else who is doing it and making more or being more successful than me, well, that's not okay. And so then for me, I go and I don't look at them and begrudge them for their success, but rather I look and go, this is amazing because they're telling me that's possible. That's all I need to know.
Yes.
If they're proving to me that they can do it, then I know I can do that. Right. So my real estate world, I get in real estate because my parents basically said, man, this laying on the couch and working out and competing in body, this is ridiculous. And you need to do something positive with your life. So they're the ones who said, how about if you were to go get a real estate license? So, and their thought was not that I would sell real estate. Their thought was more that throughout your life, you'll buy or sell a few houses. This will be a good education for you.
Right.
So I got a real estate license. Back then, in order to go into the office, you had to wear a coat and tie. Remember, this was like 1990. It was a different world then.
Yeah.
So, I'm dressed right now for work. It's a different world now.
Yeah.
So much better world. So I was a bodybuilder. So I wore a 56 coat. I had a 33-inch waist. I had to have clothes made. I had some clothes made. I could go to the office. When I got to the office, it was interesting because I looked around at the people who were succeeding at a pretty high level. And I thought, man, like these are not exceptional people. And I'm not being mean. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And I thought, if these people can succeed, I can rule the world in real estate. And so that was the beginning of my career. And then I'd look around, and everywhere I'd go, I'd find people who were better than me. And then I would set my sights on them and keep doing more business. Again, no one can tell you can't in this business. And for those of you who are in real estate already and you're struggling, look in the mirror. Truthfully, you have no one to blame but you. And I understand the market can be tough, but the reality is in every market, even the most challenging, there are people who are killing it, who are doing amazingly well. And those people, it's so easy to see where their business comes from, right?
Yeah.
Not to mention in our industry, all of the top producers have this habit of just sharing willingly everything they do to make money that makes them successful. So if you're not successful, here's what I would challenge you. You have to find a bigger why. If you have a big reason why you want to be successful, everything changes. Okay, so consider something for a minute. Let's say that you look at your past and you go, yeah, but Andy, man, I grew up in a cruddy home and man, there was no money. And so no one was, We didn't have food to eat a lot of times, and no one paid attention whether or not we went to school. So I just have this massive disadvantage. And the reality is, I don't think I can be successful like that. And in this industry, I would say you are completely wrong, because I know people who have grown up that way who are phenomenally successful because their why was big. So see if I can give you a really great why. Okay. How about this for a why? Consider the way you grew up and consider what the likelihood is. And that is that your kids, if nothing changes, your kids will kind of grow up the same, and their kids will, and their kids and their kids for generations, right? Someone has to break the chain. We in real estate can make generational change. And here's what I mean. If you were to say, this is much more important than just me. This is much more important than me. It is talking about generations to come and the change I can make. Think of this. What if you were to really buckle down, really learn the industry, do the job at a high level? You have no boss. You're your own boss. But what if right now you said, today is the first day Andy did it. He didn't have any massive training, anything. He just had a will to move forward. What you could do is this. You could be, while you're being successful in real estate and your career is growing and you're having a family, your kids are going to see you as mom or as dad succeeding, but also keeping them a priority. Like, I want the kids to be happy. I want to raise them properly. When I was ranked number 15 in the nation by the Wall Street Journal, I was coaching all my kids' sports, baseball, basketball, football. How do you do that? It's easy. You live with your calendar and you understand your priorities. I told John just before we went on, I have always looked at life this way. My business is there to support an amazing life. My life is not there to support a business. Many of the wildly successful people whom I have met, and I sell very high-end real estate, so I've met a lot of them, they have it backwards. What they believe is, I have to work day and night and I can't lose focus over here, and the family stuff I'm supporting, I'm giving a ton of money. The family is a great life. They should be thrilled. I don't need to be there. I don't need to go to events. I don't need to be coaching. I don't even need to go to the games or the recitals or the things. That's not my role. My role is to bring in money. You couldn't be more wrong, because the money is to support an amazing life. And what an amazing life it is. Like, I look at the life I've led. I'm being honest when I say this. I never would have thought it's possible to live the life I live without being an action superstar in movies or some kind of super athlete. I didn't know people made this kind of money and got to live this kind of life. My kids had been on vacations when they were growing up. Every year we took 2 big vacations. As I said, I coached all the sports. I was there for the events. I was there for most dinners. Like, why? Because it was a priority. Yeah. Because I lived my life saying, this is what's most important. Now, even if you didn't grow up that way, you understand that if you live your life that way, your children, that will be the default. That will be how they live their life. And then their children and their children. And what you have done is you have been the catalyst in your family for generational change. And in real estate, we can do that. So when I say I love this industry, no, I'm getting goosebumps right now telling you, and I swear that's true, because I love this industry. I love what it can do for people. And I love that nobody is behind. Doesn't matter what you didn't do yesterday. No one is behind. Yeah. You control your fate.
I love that message, and I can feel it coming through the speakers here to me. Now, we're talking about a type of industry where there's so much flexibility, right? And flexibility requires discipline.
Yes, it does.
To be successful. So I'm picking up a lot of things that you're saying. You got to master your calendar, right? If you're competitive, you want to, overtake other agents, you have to work harder, right? Tell me, what was the source that influenced the discipline that you've integrated into your life?
All right. So first of all, for the discipline, it was simple. I told you guys I was a competitive bodybuilder as a kid. And by a kid, I mean like through my mid-20s. This is going to telltale signs of a misspent youth. You can still see that, like, wow, Andy spent all this time in the gym, very little time in class in college. This is something, and that's a secret I would never have told my kids. But now that they're in college, I could tell everything. But before they went to college, it was like, no, I studied every day and I made amazing grades. And like, I didn't want them to know there was an option. right? I consider that
Yeah.
good parenting. Not completely honest, but good parenting. But for me, the discipline came from bodybuilding. I went my junior year of high school. I was 5'11 and a half and weighed 135. 10 years later, when I was 26, I had grown half an inch. So I was 6 feet tall and I weighed 262. So
Whoa, that's you doubled your weight.
Double my weight. Yeah. So how do you do that? Because most of you would look and go, well, then, if you're a bodybuilder, then you're just genetically this big person and that's how it works. It isn't how it works. It is about discipline. And for me, it was about, I'm not starting out with the best genetics, but what I know for sure is nobody will outwork me. No one can take that away from me. And so when I would be training in the gym, I would never miss workouts. I was a bouncer in college because I had to make money also. So I bounced and would get off at like 2:30. I'd go grab something to eat. Now, this is back in the days when we didn't have 24-hour gyms, right? So I'd get to know the owner of the gym and I'd have a key. And then I could be to the gym by 3:34, be in the gym for 2 hours, go home, go to sleep, have afternoon classes, and then go back to work at night, right? So that's how I was able to put myself through school. The discipline from knowing it's I got to get all my meals in, I got to get my training in. My parents were big every year on whenever it was one of the family's birthday, would have a birthday party and mom would make a big cake. And like even into my young adulthood, that was the case. For 3 years for my birthday, I wouldn't eat any cake because my answer was, I'm not going to put anything in my body. I'm not going to drink anything. I'm not going to eat it. It's discipline. Now, that's an extreme. You don't have to have that extreme level of discipline. But I will say this, because I had that from bodybuilding, it made it really easy to look around the industry and go, wow, these people have no discipline, which is why I started out by telling you, if you consider the change you can make for your family for generations to come, that you're the catalyst for that, then suddenly you can find discipline.
Yeah. And then a key part that works in tandem is intentionality, right? So because someone could be disciplined and work all day, every day.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But you're intentional. It sounds like your work-life balance, your family is so important to you. I can 100% relate to that. So walk us through, how can we be disciplined? How can we outwork the competition, but also be intentional in putting our family first?
So first of all, let's be realistic. There are seasons in your life where you have to really work. Right. And some people would say you got to really grind, whatever it is. There are seasons where you have to do that. A season is a short window of time, right? We have 4 seasons in a year. So a season is not, okay, in my 20s and 30s, I'm going to really have to work and abandon my family and to hell with my morals and what I believe is right and wrong. I just have to, and it's wrong. And my answer to you would be this. I think you are much more likely to find phenomenal success if you have no guilt and baggage that you carry with you. So whatever your industry, we'll use real estate. If you're saying, no, I'm going to only focus on real estate and to heck with everything in my wake because that's what it takes. The reality is every day you have some level of guilt because other people are probably doing it better than me and they're home and they're helping and they're involved in the kids' stuff and I'm not. That guilt will affect your performance at work. Contrast that with, no, I'm going to be balanced. And as a result, when I'm at work, I am incredibly focused. Consider this for a minute. You got a vacation you're leaving for tomorrow. And you wake up today and you got a list of 25 items that have to get done, right? It's before you leave. You got to get the dog dropped off here and go to the bank and you got to get the cleaners and all of the stuff you have to get done. You know what's amazing about that? You will get all of that done because you have no choice.
Because you have to. Yeah.
Everything will get done. Okay. Now I want you to consider, how would your life be if you could live with that kind of intentionality every day? Not that every day is 24 hours of working, but you look at your day and you go, no, I'm going to be that intentional with my family also and with my work. And I'm not going to, you guys want, this is more than the cost of admission, even though it costs nothing to watch this. This is worth the price right now. Every night before you go to bed, take a spiral bound notebook, sit down at your table without the phone, without any kind of electronics, sit down with a pen and a notebook. And for 20 minutes, think about your day And more importantly, think about tomorrow and all the things you would like to get done for tomorrow to be an amazing day. Okay. And jot them all down. So nothing to distract you. No phone ringing, no text coming in. Oh my God, I got to check the bank account. I forgot to send this email. None of it. 20 minutes, you just sit down and you make your notes. Two things will happen. One, you now know what it takes to have an amazing day tomorrow. And you take that list and now you put it into your calendar. Okay. So now what you've done is you've time blocked. So you're going to work incredibly efficiently. And also what you're going to find is when your head hits the pillow, you are going to be out. And you're not thinking, oh, I got this to do or that. You are going to sleep like a baby. Look, I have coached people this for years, and it's the easiest single thing you can do to immediately start to transform your life. There is nothing more to it than that. 20 minutes at the end of every day, write it down, transfer it into your calendar, go sleep like a baby, get up in the morning and kill it. Create your own amazing life. In a minute, I'm going to tell you how to balance it all and create your amazing life. But I'm telling you, an easy, a quick fix for you. If you will make that list every night, I guarantee your life will be better.
It's incredible what a positive impact writing down goals makes. I hear this all the time, and it's one of those things that seems like, wait, this is so simple. Everybody can do it. It can't possibly be that effective, can it?
Everybody can do it, but how few people do it? But you know the ones who do it? All the
successful people. Yeah.
All the successful people do it. Now, I believe the flaw with most successful people is they do it in their business life. They don't do it for the rest of their life, right? So in a minute, I'll break it down for you and show you how to do that. But I'm telling you, there is a way to have incredible balance. But as a guy who, my first house was a foreclosure that I paid $57,000 for, and my parents co-signed for me because I was teaching defensive driving. Okay.
Yeah.
This is like, that's where I started. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. My dad's a retired Army. So this was not like the wealthy kid. When I was 32, I'd already bought a lot in the hills of West Austin. Austin's beautiful. It backs to a preserve. And when I come home for the last almost 30 years, electric gates open. I drive down my driveway. I have like 8,000 square feet. I have a 1,300-foot gym in the backyard. There's a creek running through the back. There's a ginormous pool. I have all these cool cars. I take vacations. Like, guys, when I tell you I have an amazing life, and it didn't come from anywhere other than my selling real estate.
Wow.
And look, I didn't start special. I didn't even want to get in real estate. My parents wanted me to. That's why I got a real estate license. If I wasn't motivated by money, I was motivated by, I want to be really great at something. But for me, if I could have been the biggest guy at the gym and competing in shows and winning bodybuilding contests, even if I had bald tires on the car and multiple colors of paint that didn't match, and I'm good with that because I would be living my best life. I didn't know this was possible. So once I got in real estate, I realized, wow. And so, I hadn't competed in bodybuilding in 32 years. I put on my life pie that I'm going to explain to you 4 years ago that, you know what, I want to do another show. So what did I do? I trained for a show. I went to Arizona. I won a bodybuilding contest. Why? Because it was important. And I'm still putting up big numbers and selling houses and doing all the stuff. You don't have to be singularly focused. And if you're going to be singularly focused on the life you live, living a life with no regrets and truly feeling like I am the best version of myself. If you do that, oh man, it's going to be an amazing ride for you.
I love that message. And I'm looking forward to hearing all about the life pie and how to apply goals in our personal lives. But before, let's listen to a message from our sponsor, Sphere Rocket.
Business owners and entrepreneurs will place a proven executive assistant VA for just $4 to $8 an hour. And if they don't perform, you don't pay. Imagine freeing up 20 plus hours a week by someone handling your most time-consuming tasks like admin work, managing emails, scheduling meetings, and so much more. This one hire could transform your productivity and give you back the time you need to focus on growing your business. At Sphere Rocket VA, we make this possible in as little as 7 days. We'll place a proven executive assistant VA in your business for just $4 to $8 an hour, and your VA will take over day-to-day administrative tasks, help manage your email, email and calendar, follow up with past clients, giving you back 20 plus hours a week so you can increase your sales and even enjoy more personal time. And here's the best part. If they don't give you back 20 plus hours a week in the first month, you don't pay Sphere Rocket a dime. We've done this for thousands of business owners, and now it's your turn to see the results. Click the link around this video to schedule a demo and discover how this one hire can completely change how you run your business. Remember, if within 45 days the VA doesn't perform, you don't pay.
All right, we are here with Andy Allen, and so far in this episode, we've talked about what makes the real estate industry a great one for real estate agents. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter your experience. This is an industry that enables you to reach your full potential based on what you put into it. You can get out of it. We've talked about setting goals. We've talked about being disciplined and intentional in business. And now Andy is going to help us understand how can we apply these same lessons to our personal life in a way that can provide balance and enable us to really focus on what's most important in life, which is life outside of the office.
Amen.
Andy, take us through it.
All right, so it's really a simple concept, and here's the problem. It is so simple that in many cases you guys will hear me and go, wow, that is so easy. That's a great idea. At some point I'm going to do that. And you're not going to do that. No, it's true. And you will continue down the path. And look, you get to live whatever life you choose to live. But if you choose not to have a path, create a path for yourself, you're going to take whatever life throws at you. And that's what some of you do. And that's a big challenge, right? It is bouncing from one thing to the other. And what he talked about, and he said, written down goals, it's everything. John told you that. Written down goals are everything. So what I've done is taken the written down goals and expanded just from business, and I use them for all facets of my life. So here's the example. I want you guys to think of a pie, right? A pie. And there are 5 pieces to this pie. What I do at the beginning of every year is I write down, I think, what are the most important things in my life right now? And then I write them on the outside of each of the piece of the pie. It's a circle, right? So I'm going to just tell you what mine are for this year. So I have business, right? I'm in business. I have a coaching business. I have my real estate business. So business is a piece of the pie. It's one piece. It is 20% of the pie. Then also I have family, because as I've told you, family is very important to me. So family is a piece. Spiritual is important to me. That's a piece. Personal is a piece, which is the stuff that I take care of for me. And then I look and go kind of investing. Financial is a piece. It's not making the money, but what I do with the money. Okay. Those are my 5 pieces. Now, what do? For each of those slices, and I'll give you an example, a quick example for each one. So for each of those examples, I'm going to set goals, and then I'm going to create an action plan to make sure that I achieve those goals. And then I'm going to hold myself accountable throughout the year so I can make adjustments where needed. Okay, let's go with personal first. I told you guys a minute ago, I hadn't competed in bodybuilding in 32 years, but it's a passion. The family came and I put it on the back burner. So 4 years ago, I say, I'm tired of thinking about it. I don't want to be carrying this around with me. So in my piece, my personal piece of the life pie, one of my things was I'm going to compete this year. So I go and pick a contest that was in Arizona at the end of the year, and I set up my training schedule, my diet schedule. I get everything right. I go, I do the show, check the box, right? Now, a guy who's 58 years old who goes and enters a bodybuilding contest after not competing for 32 years probably seems like, wow, that's really crazy. It isn't crazy because it was a part of my life pie, right? So all I did is I needed to make it happen. So I said, here are the things that need to happen. Okay. That's for my family slice. I'll give you an example. 10 years ago, my mom now has passed 4 years ago. 10 years ago, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. My parents live in San Antonio and I'm in Austin. The drive is about an hour and a half to get there. I decide, with my parents' mortality right in front of me, I decide I'm going to be more intentional. I want them to know they're important. I love them and I appreciate what they've done. So for the last 10 years, every Thursday morning at 6:30, I leave my house. I drive to San Antonio. Mom's been gone 4 years now. So I meet Dad at a restaurant. We have breakfast. He's 92. We have breakfast. I go over to the cemetery, visit with my mom. I go back home, hang out with Dad. We have lunch. And then I get in the car and I drive home and I'm home by 3. Okay. Why does that happen? That happens because I'm intentional. And I said for that year, wow, mom has Alzheimer's. I know how this is going to end. I don't want to live a life with any regrets. I want to live my best life. I want them to know they're appreciated, right? So what do I set up the system, and 10 years later, the system still works. And my dad, I talk to him every day. One of the other things I said was I would call them every day. So for 10 years, I call San Antonio at least once a day. And my dad and I have kind of become almost like best friends because of the time that I've spent with him. That's being intentional. The spiritual side. I'm going to make this a short story. For years, I go from my office within a mile, I go around a corner to a restaurant. For 2 years in a row, I see this black guy sitting on his walker. He's about my age, waving, smiling and waving. He has no teeth. Homeless guy. So it is the day before Thanksgiving, 6-7 years ago. And even though I had read an article that says, please don't give money to the homeless, it was written by a lady whose brother was homeless. And she said, you're prolonging their days on the street. We're trying to get them back. If they don't have money, they'll come back. Help us. So, but even though I read the article, but I get out $20 and I go, dude, here, this is for your meal tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Okay. No booze, no cigarettes. Have a meal tomorrow. He goes, look, tomorrow's actually my birthday. All right. So I give him the $20. I go home. Next morning, we have 23 family members coming over. My wife looks at me and says, what's going on? You look kind of off today. I go, no, I'm good. I'm good. She goes, no, I can tell something's going on. I go, all right, look, I meet this homeless guy and I give him $20 but it's his birthday. And I just feel horrible. The guy's going to go eat by himself for his birthday. Like, what kind of life is that? And she goes, I'll take care of your stuff to get ready. Most of it's already, just go see if you can have breakfast with him, see if he's there. So I get in the car and bolt that way. I'm praying, having a conversation with God, going, please let him be there. Look, there's no traffic Thanksgiving morning, right? I don't know if you guys know that, but like, there's no traffic. I get off the highway, go up to the intersection. I look from a far ways off, and there I see him sitting there. No cars. I pull up and go, hey, you remember me? He goes, oh, you were in that sports car yesterday and you gave me $20. And I go, yeah. I said, meet me at that restaurant right there. I go meet him at the restaurant. I buy his meal. And I tell him, look, you've seen me go around that corner. He goes, yeah, I see you all the time going over there. I see you all the time. You always pass me. And I said, from now on, every time you see me, if you want, you can go over there and I'll buy your meal. And I said, but you got to put up with me because I'm going to talk to you every time. Yeah. And so here's what happens. We become friends. For the next 2 years, I pay his rent for him to have an apartment. He has a place to live. We wind up getting him a home at this cool place here called Community First for homeless people. He had 2 bad hips, which is why he was homeless, because he couldn't get them fixed. I have an orthopedic surgeon buddy of mine. We've just completed his 2nd hip about a month ago. Wow. So he was walking and thriving and has a home. Like, it's amazing, right? So for my spiritual slice, in that slice, I had said, I'm going to look for ways to do good. I think I've been so blessed. I want to look for ways to do good. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying is the intentionality. If I hadn't been intentional and said this, I really am going to look for the chance to be able to be the best person, then maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe I don't get to spend the time with my folks. Maybe I don't do the bodybuilding. All of these things that you look and go, wow, that it might seem extreme. They're not extreme at all. I make real quantifiable goals, trackable goals, right? And I make them for all parts of my life, not just business. Yes, I'm going to be successful in business because I have goals for my business.
Right.
But the reality is my business is designed to fund this amazing life. So for me, what's the point of having goals over here and making the money if I'm not living my best life? All of us are capable of that, right? My kids are thriving. They're 30 and 26 years old. They have their kids. I see the way they're raising them, just the way that we raised out. It's like, I look and go, it's amazing how simple this is if you will just do it. But when you hear how simple it is, that's the problem. Is you go, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm sure I'll do that. But until you write it down, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So the challenge to our listeners and viewers here is take that first step. Take this 20 minutes, get rid of the distractions, and write down those goals, not just for the business, but also for the family, for the spiritual, for the personal, for the finance. Now, Andy,
y'all can make your own. They don't have to be those, right? If John said, Look, it's my greatest desire to get back into competitive skateboarding. Then, man, he could do that. There's nothing to say he can't do that. And so that could, yours can be whatever they want to be. Your slice could be, you know what, I've always wanted to climb this massive mountain, and it's been in the back of my mind forever. Or maybe your slice is as simple as, man, I'm 70 pounds overweight. I'm not happy with who I am. It's making me depressed. Or maybe it is, I don't get out enough, or it doesn't matter what it is, because whatever it is that you want to accomplish, it's there to be accomplished. It's such okay. So my son goes to college, his first year, he's playing baseball in college. He calls me when he was like 15, we went on a Disney cruise. I booked the trip, and it was a huge mistake because the Disney ship comes back, lets us off, puts us on a bus. We're back at the Orlando airport like at 9 a.m, and I'd booked a flight out like at 5. I mean, what an idiot. But my family hated me at the moment. The kids were younger. Janine takes Kaylee. They go into a bunch of shops and just to kill time. I sit down with Cam and I teach him a life pie at age 15. Okay. And I have him fill it all out. And he's got like, I want to guitar play guitar and do this and do. Okay. He has all of his stuff. It's really cool. I never bring up the life pie with my son again. Freshman year of college. What is he? 19, maybe 18, 19. He calls me and goes, Dad, man, this guy on the team was really struggling. And he goes, hey, dude, can you just like sit down with me and help me? Like, you have your whole life planned. How do you do this? Like, every area you seem to be under control, and I don't get it. How do you, your grades are great. You're in the gym all the time. You look like you look, you get extra reps in for like everything. You know where you're going. You know what your career, I don't understand. How do you do that? And Cam goes, so I sat him down and helped him with his life pie. And I went,
how cool.
You remember the life pie? And he goes, Dad, I do one every year. You showed it to me when we were on the trip. And I was like, wow. Now my son is with a huge multinational company, and he's in software sales, and he's like top 1%. And he's been that way since he was 27 years old. It's amazing what happens if you live an intentional life. It's amazing what's available to you if you do.
That's so rewarding to see something that you learned, that you have applied consistently and faithfully, and then to see your children following in your footsteps. I have a question for you from a skepticism perspective, right? Because I always love to play the devil's advocate.
Oh, fire away.
You know, the truth stands up to skepticism, right? And so if I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, well, Andy, that's all well and good, and yeah, you're doing great, and I'm happy for you, but 5 different things, and like, I can barely have enough time in the day to do the work stuff and maybe hit the grocery store.
It's
right?
brilliant.
It sounds like that's too much to fit in. How can I fit in 4 or 5 different things that I have goals that I am working towards?
No, it's brilliant. It's a great question. And so I'm going to answer with an example. Okay.
Please.
Someone who I coach who's not in real estate comes to me to expand his business and to try to get his life in order. Okay. And he's very successful, and he's got 2 like 8 and 10-year-old kids at home. And so as I go through the first thing and we're creating the life pie, I go, how's life at home? He goes, man, it's challenging. Honestly, we've been at each other for the last 2 years. She thinks all I care about is work. But the reality is, if I don't work, the money isn't there. And I've been successful, and we get to go have these cool things because of the work I do. And it's not appreciated. And so I go, okay, wait. So first of all, do you love your wife? Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't marry if I didn't. Yes, I love her. Do you want to stay with her? His answer was, yeah. I mean, if it weren't that I just get beat on every time I come home. And I go, okay, so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you an easy path, and you tell me if these things are easy enough for you to do that you'd commit to them. I said, 1, every morning when you wake up, every day when you leave for work, and every night when you go to bed, tell her I love you. Can you do that? Well, obviously, yeah, right? Doesn't take any time. In other words, be intentional. Once a month, for no reason, bring flowers home. You can swing by any grocery store and pick up a dozen roses for next to nothing, put them in a vase, and once a month to do that, and just say, because I love you. And once a month, you set up a date night. Show her it's important to you that you have time with her. Can you do those 3 things? Well, obviously, yes. So our next coaching call was a month later, and it was all business. So it had been 60 days now before the next call. And I go, tell me, how are things at home? Dude, you have no idea how much it's changed. It's crazy. And I go, no. You had no idea. I had every idea. This was my idea, right? Like,
Yeah.
no, I knew if you were intentional. So my question to you, John, would be, how much time did it take out of his schedule? What did he have to change to be able to tell his wife he loves her, to set up one date night every 30 days and to bring flowers home?
Very little.
Very
Takes next to nothing.
Well, but it's about being intentional. It's not about time. We're not trading time at work for time on these other things. We're not. For me, when I competed, I was going to be in the gym training no matter what, because it's who I am and it's what I love. So
Right.
What's the difference? Did I take a lot of time away to do? No, I didn't. I kept my business running and I had a great year like I always have.
Yeah, it's a great point. So when I was asking the question, I had kind of an answer in the back of my head, but I wanted to hear yours first. And, I think it's the way to put it is I've wasted a lot of time being unintentional.
Yep.
It's amazing how long things will take you when you're unintentional, right? And so I think a way to view intentionality is making the most of every minute, right? I
Yep.
think when you use that example of, okay, I'm going to go on vacation, I got all these things to do, right? Why do we get all those things done when most of the other days of our lives we're not getting nearly that much done? Because you got a hard deadline and you have clarity on exactly what you need to do, and you're intentional on going on that vacation. You're not going to miss that vacation,
Mhm.
right? And so I think when we're looking at these multiple different things that we're creating goals around, and then we're creating the plans to achieve these goals, listeners, it's going to be surprising to you when you are intentional and focused on accomplishing these things, how much wasted time you're eliminating, where you don't need more time in the day. You're just utilizing the time you have much more effectively. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
100% accurate. There's one thing that's missing from that, and that is the day before, you're also going to have a list. You're not going to rely on yourself to remember to do the 25 things that need to be done. So why did I tell you every night before you go to bed to make a list? Because you can live that day over and over again. All you have to do then is you time block. Here are the things that are most important. I need to call these people, do this, do this, do that. You're just thinking, what are the things that would make tomorrow a great day? And you go, okay, great, I'm going to write them in here. I'm going to put them into my calendar. So I've time blocked it. And now when you get up in the morning, you get up with purpose. And instead of going, if I had a job, I'd be there at 8, but heck, no one's making me be there at 8. So I'm going to get up at 8. Then I'll probably go get some coffee and chill out and play with the dog a little bit and see what's on TV. And then by about 10:30, though, I'm going to be ready to roll in. And then you get lunch at noon, and you're back at 1:30, and you check your email till about 3. And then you go home and go, man, this is the life of the realtor. And you go, damn, I'm working every day and nothing's happening. No, you're not. You want to work the hours that you put in, make them really effective hours, like the day before you're leaving for that trip. If you did that, the way I was taught was take a calendar at the beginning of the year, fill in every vacation you want to take, as many as you want to take. Fill in all the family time you want to take. Fill in, I'm going to have date nights here and here. I'm going to do this and this. I want to do this personally. I want to have fishing time. I want to have whatever it is. Fill in your perfect life. Your calendar filled with everything you can think of.
Yeah. The
rest of the time, work to support that life. And if you're going to work to support that life, then you're going to work efficiently. You're going to have, and I would tell you, here's another great cheat for all of you. Have the same morning routine every day. Every day have the same morning routine. If I waited to get home at the end of the day to get my workout, there will always be things that get in the way. Early in the morning, the alarm goes off and I hit the alarm and I think how much I hate my life because I have to get out of bed and go work.
Yeah.
And then when I am finished with my workout and I'm walking out, I think this is the greatest life ever. I have the endorphins pumping and I am ready to attack the world. And you do not want to battle me early in the morning because I am way ahead of you. And so, but it's the life that you can all lead to. And if you say, yeah, but I'd rather sleep, it's okay. But then don't complain about your life. This amazing life that I live is available to everyone. And it isn't tough. And if you haven't noticed yet, I'm a really happy person. Like I love my life.
Yeah.
I do.
That's incredible. And for those who are listening who are thinking, wow, I really want to apply these things, but I feel like I need a little bit more guidance. From what I understand, there's a great book out
Yes,
there called The 80% Project,
yes. I wrote
right
a book
over your
15 years
shoulder. Tell
ago.
us tell us about your book.
So it is basically my life, and it tells you how to use the life pie, all the different. There are probably 20 different categories I give as examples that you can use instead of my five. But basically, it is how to live your best life, a life with no regrets, and accomplish at a high level and succeed at a high level. It's all that we've been talking about, but it's in the book. And the book, when it hit Amazon, it became a bestseller really quickly a couple of years ago. And I've had tons of people who have been. Look, to be honest, I don't know if you guys have written books. You don't make a lot of money on a book unless you sell like a gazillion copies. So
Right.
this is not a plea for you to buy a book. In fact, Amazon just did a reduction on mine on the electronic version. They took it from like $9.99 down to 99 cents, but I still get paid. It's some kind of push to do it. So you could get it for next to nothing online on Amazon. But I will tell you, the book is like my coaching. The coaching business I have is, yes, I'm in real estate, and yes, I told John the easiest part of the coaching I do is how to sell more houses. That part is simple. How to get you to live your best life, that's more challenging. And so it isn't just realtors that I coach; it's a lot of different kind of people. And I have personal trainers on staff, and I have nutritionists on staff. I have a religious kind of leader, because when people go through hard times, they need that. And so my answer is, whatever your goal is within our coaching sessions, I want you to be your best person. I want you to live your best life. And it's the way I've lived my whole life. So this isn't anything I'm trying to create a system. This is how I live. It is second nature to me. It's second nature to my kids, and it's second nature to most of the people who have ever worked for me.
Well, your life, your happiness, and your success are a great example of that. Last question for you, Andy. For those who are watching and listening and would like to get in touch with you, whether that's coaching, whether that's just following you in the ways that you'd like them to, how can folks follow you and get in touch?
I'm easy to find because for 35 years I've been in real estate. So, we realtors talk a lot about ourselves, and we put a lot of stuff out there.
That's right.
So I'm in Austin, Texas, and I'm Andy Allen, and you can go to the 80% Project. You can go to austinhouses.com. I'm easy to find. I encourage you. Look, some people have a problem with, I can't afford coaching. I got coaching at a very, very, very early age, early on in my real estate career from some great people, and my business went like that. And so I would tell you this: the cost of coaching is like less for a year, less than one commission from one median priced house in this country. So, and if you think that I can't help you to sell an extra home, to get your life in order and teach you how to be a better agent and how to make all the money, then you're foolish. It's an easy thing to do.
It's an investment with some easy ROI to generate there.
Yeah. Plus, again, it's the greatest industry in the world. Don't let it pass you by. Don't be mediocre. There is, and here's the one thing I would also encourage: as you guys are building teams, one of the biggest issues I see in our industry right now is the team leader who starts the team sets up such a screwed up thing that they'll wind up, oh my God, our team is publicized for selling 250 houses last year, and it's amazing. But then you look deeper, and they've got 30 or 50 agents. None of them are doing really well. And when you talk to the team leader, the reality is, if they're not selling houses themselves, there's not enough money left over for them to live. It's a miserable life. You have to, for 6 years with my team, look, I had 11 agents. We closed 566 units in 1 year. That means each agent is average closing 4.25 houses per month.
Wow.
And for 6 years, I didn't even sell a house. I just missed the people and the energy and being in it. And so I sell super high-end stuff now, but this is an amazing industry. If you're not thriving in it, you're doing it wrong.
Well, it's so inspiring hearing what you've accomplished throughout your career, Andy, and how you've taken a simple concept that is easy to apply, done it consistently over time, and seen the obvious results that have come from your intentionality and your discipline. So those viewers and listeners, I encourage you to pick up the 80% Project. You can get on Amazon for a very, very low cost. And I'm going to do this tonight, Andy. I'm going to pull out my notebook. What's that?
I hope you do, because, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if you can imagine where your life would be 10 years from now, if every year you're making a little progress in every area you deem to be important, because next year you keep setting little higher goals, and you like, it's amazing to think that we get to live whatever life we want in this country. We get to choose.
And very often we take that for granted. So listeners, I encourage you, take out that notebook, silence the phone, give yourself 20 minutes, write out that life pie, your goals, and you'll be glad you did. Andy Allen, thank you for joining me today on the Leverage Podcast.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to have been here. Thanks for the opportunity.
My pleasure.